Satu, dua, tiga.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today, me and my partner will be presenting on the topic of environmental ethics for our subject contemporary moral issues. Alright, so meet our team, NorHakiem, and also me myself, Muhammad Khairul Ikhwan. Alright, so contents of our presentation. First, greenhouse effect and global warming. Second, we have air and water pollution. The third one, energy consumption. Number four, we have deforestation and species loss. Number five, sustainable development. Number six, the 1992 Rio Declaration on Environment. And the last one, conclusion. Right, so I'll start the presentation with the first subtopic, which is greenhouse effect and global warming. Right. So first thing first, the definition of first term, which is greenhouse, it can be defined as the trapping of the sun's warmth in a planet's lower atmosphere due to the greater transparency of the atmosphere to visible radiation from the sun than to infrared radiation emitted from the planet's surface. And for the second keyword, which is global warming, it is a phenomenon of climate change characterized by a general increase in average temperatures of the earth, which modifies the weather balances and ecosystem for a long time. So global warming, it occurred, it is not occurred one off. It has been occurred from a long time ago, but it increased by factors that will be discussed on the next subtopic. All right. So for the effect of the greenhouse, first, fossil fuels, the massive use of fossil fuels. So if I can share with all of you guys the simple definition of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, it made from decomposing plants and also animals. So these fuels, it can be found in the earth, which can be burned for energy consumption. Right. For the second effect, deforestation, the exploitation of forests as a major role in climate change. The third one, we have waste disposal. Waste management methods like landfills and incineration emit greenhouse and toxic gases. And the last one, we have overconsumption, over exploitation of natural resources and emissions from international freight transport. All right, so moving on to the global warming effect. First, we look at the effect on biodiversity. The increase of temperatures and also the climate upheavals disturb the ecosystem and also modify the conditions and also cycles of plant reproduction. Second, effects on the ocean. Permafrost and also ice are melting massively at the poles, increasing the sea level at the rate never known before. The third one, effect on human, climate change that affecting the global economy, shaking up social, health, and also geopolitical balances in many parts of the world. The last one, effect on the weather, more droughts and also heat wave, more precipitations, more natural disasters like floods, hurricanes, storms, and also wildfires, frost-free season, and etc. I'll pass to the next presenter.
So, Assalamualaikum. My name is NorHakiem. So, I will be presenting about the topic of air pollution and water pollution. So, under this topic, there will be two main things that I will be present, which is I mentioned just now, air pollution and also water pollution. Okay, next slide. So, what is air pollution? Air pollution, it refers to the release of pollutant into the air where these pollutants are detrimental or can affect the human health and the planet as a whole. In other words, air pollution is the contamination of the indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical or biological agent that actually modifies the natural characteristic of the atmosphere. And because of this external thing in the air, it makes the air become polluted. So, according to the WHO, World Health Organization, on each year, air pollution is responsible for nearly 7 million deaths around the globe, and also, according to the research and survey that have been done by them, where 9 out of 10 human beings currently breathe air that exceed the WHO's guideline limit for pollutant, especially with those who are living in low and middle income countries, uh, which is they suffer the most on air pollutant. So other than that, uh, in the United States, the Clean Air Act, which is being established in 1970, authorized that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) to safeguard the public health by regulating the emission of this harmful air pollutant. So, what actually is the factor that cause the air pollution nowadays? Okay, most air pollution come from energy use and production. For example, the burning of fossil fuels that release the gases and chemicals into the air and causes the particles in the air mixed with other pollutants. So, the air pollution not only contributes to climate change, but is also exacerbated by it. So actually, there are a lot of sources that contribute towards the emission of those pollutants, such as household combustion device, which is oven, heater, stove, and so on. And other than that, motor vehicles, industrial facilities, and forest fire are also the common sources of air pollution. So the pollutant of major public health concern include particulate matter, carbon monoxide, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide, and air pollution in the form of carbon dioxide and methane raise the Earth temperature. So here we know that there are certain gases in the atmosphere that can cause air pollution. For example, in cities, a gas called ozone. Ozone is a major cause of air pollution. So ozone actually is a greenhouse gas that can be both good and bad for our environment, and it all depends where it is in Earth's atmosphere. So, for example, when the ozone are high up in our atmosphere, it is a good thing as it helps to block the harmful energy from the sun, which is we call as radiation. But when the ozone is closer to the ground, it can be really bad for our health. So the ground level ozone is created when sunlight reacts with certain chemicals that come from sources of burning fossil fuels such as factories or car exhaust. So when these particles in the air combine with the ozone, they will create smoke. Smoke is a type of air pollution that look like smoky fog and make it difficult to see. And this air pollution is caused by solid and liquid particles and certain gases that are suspended in the air. So, like I mentioned just now, these particle and gases usually come from car, from truck, from factories, and others. Okay, next slide. Okay, so these are among the effect of air pollution, which is it can create smoke and soot, hazardous air pollutant, pollen and mold, and also greenhouse gases, like I mentioned just now. So next slide. So we move to the next slide, which is about the water pollution. So what is actually water pollution? Okay, so water pollution is a situation that occurs when harmful substance like chemical or microorganism contaminate a stream, river, lake, ocean, and other body of water. Then it will degrading the quality of the water, and Lastly, they will rendering it toxic to human or the environment. So the release of these substances into subsurface of groundwater, such as I mentioned just now, just like into the lake, stream, river, and ocean. This substance will interfere with the beneficial use of the water, or in the other word, it will affect the natural functioning of ecosystem of the water. So the release of this substance into the bodies of water will make the water unsafe for the human use and disrupt the aquatic ecosystem. So what is the cause of water pollution? As we know that water is uniquely vulnerable to pollution, and water known as universal solvent. So water, why they call as water as universal solvent? Because water is able to to dissolve more substances than any other liquid. So that's why it called as universal solvent. So it means that wherever water goes, either through the ground or through our bodies, it take along valuable chemicals, mineral, and nutrient. And it's the reason why water is so easy to get polluted. So the toxic substance from farm, town, and factories dissolve into the water and mix with it, and it cause the water to be polluted. Okay, so next slide. Okay, I'll pass to Brother Khairul.
Okay, thank you, Hakim. So I'll proceed the presentation with the third subtopic, which is energy consumption. So first thing first, again we look at the definition of energy consumption. So it can be defined as the amount of energy used by individual or company or country and also etc. parties. So energy consumption, it refer to all the energy used in order to perform an action or to manufacture something or simply inhabit a building. So moral principles and energy. So energy sources worldwide is a matter of human rights, meaning that energy sources that have around us is actually one of the human rights of many more. And also energy, it also considered as a common good, meaning that it need to be shared with all the humans because it is a natural beings. Yes. Right. So for the fourth subtopic, again I'll pass to Hakim.
Okay, so we move to the next topic, which is deforestation. Okay, next slide. So I'll give the definition of deforestation first. So deforestation is the removal of a forest or a cluster of trees from land, which is then it converted to a non-forest use. So this deforestation can involve conversion of forest land to farm, ranches, or also they apply the deforestation for the urban use. So you know, in the other word, to put it in simpler form, it is actually the reduction in forest areas across the world. It is caused by both natural and human activities. And although it is undeniable, accelerated by human via actions such as urbanization, mining, and agricultural farming. And other than that, according to Merriam-Webster, deforestation is the action or process of clearing of forests and also the state of having been cleared of forests. Like I mentioned just now, it is caused by both, which are human and also natural. So, so there are some natural causes of deforestation, including forest fires that, in addition to destroy the forest and biodiversity. So next slide. So there are some natural causes of deforestation. Um, okay, like I mentioned just now, deforestation is caused by both, which are human and also natural. So there are some natural causes of deforestation. These include forest fires that, in addition to destroy the forest and biodiversity when it releases huge amount of carbon dioxide into the atmospheres. And uh, other than that is disease that affect the trees, parasite, and also extreme weather such as hurricane or floods. However, it is not surprising that human activities also contribute to the phenomena of deforestation, such as the activities of agriculture, infrastructure, construction, mining activities, and also urbanization. So these are the main causes that responsible for deforestation that happening worldwide with uncontrolled felling of trees. So next slide. So deforestation has real consequences for animal. Uh, the most serious impact of deforestation on animal are being listed in this slide presentation. Actually, there are many, but these are the most common thing that happen. Um, that caused by deforestation on animal. So the first one is it is cause the animal of to lose their habitat. So the removal of trees and other type of vegetation will reduce the available food, shelter, and breeding habitat. So this wildlife habitat will become fragmented, where their native species must live on remaining habitat uh, on islands that are surrounded by disturbed land and being used for agriculture and other use. And this will cause the animal to encounter such dangerous situations such as increase the human and wildlife interaction or conflict, and being hit by vehicles when they attempt to migrate between habitat to other habitats. So the next one is it will cause the changing in climate. So as we know that tree plays a vital role in controlling the climate. As a matter of fact, acres of rainforest can absorb and store up to 200 tons of carbon dioxide, because forests store a amount of the world's carb large amount of the world's carbon dioxide. So deforestation will contribute 15% of global greenhouse emission. So when forest trees are burned, the carbon that they were storing get released into the atmosphere, and this will cause the climate change to lead the new weather pattern, changing level of temperature and so on. So the climate change can have many negative impact, not only on human but also on the wildlife around the world, it with this rising of temperature will change the habitat, the natural habitat that the animal depend on. So next slide. So the third one is it will increase the risk of wildfire and drought in the forest that will lead to the animal losing their habitat, and even worse, will kill the animal. So this deforestation may reduce the remaining forest area. Uh, this is because it can alter the natural cycle of hydrological in the forest. So since trees are being cut down in through the process of deforestation, so there will be no tree canopy. There will be less tree canopy present after deforestation. So this change in the water cycle can lead to much drier and warmer condition, and this will lead uh, to to the happening of like burning of the forest or something, and this will destroy the habitat of the animal. So the fourth one is starvation. So habitat loss meaning that so deforestation meaning that the animal lost their habitat. So this means that they also lost of their food sources. So as we know that some species they rely heavily on specific plant for food sources. Okay, for example, elephant they depend almost entirely on grasses for nutrition. So if uh, there are there are not any of them, they will get starved. Next example is monkey. So monkey, we know that they eat fruit from the tree. So without the healthy tree nearby, they won't get enough food. So at the end, they will get starved. So next slide. Okay, I pass to brother Khairul.
Okay, thank you, Hakim. So I'll proceed with the fifth subtopic, which is sustainable development. So again, the definition of sustainable development, it can be defined as the practice of maintaining productivity by replacing used resources with resources of equal or greater value without degrading or endangering natural biotic system. The sustainable development binds together concern for the carrying of capacity of natural systems with the social, political, and also economic challenges faced by the humanity. All right, so four dimension of sustainable development. First, we look at from the economics perspective. We have production, labor, wealth, and also infrastructure. Second, we have environmental and also ecology, consists of energy, water and air, flora and fauna, and also place and space. Number three, we have the dimension of politics, consists of law and justice, governance, communications, and also security. And the last one, culture, comprised of recreation, belief, generations, and also well-being. I'll pass to Hakim for the last subtopic.
Okay, so for the last subtopic, I will talk about the 1992 Rio Declaration on Environment and Development. Okay, so next slide. So the primary objective of this Rio Declaration is to produce a broad agenda and a new blueprint for international action on environmental and development issues that would help to guide the international cooperation and development policy in the 21st century. So these are be done by brought together the political the political leaders, diplomats, scientists, representative of the media and NGOs from 179 countries for a massive effort to focus on the impact of human socio-economic activities on the environment. So next slide. So these are the summary of the event of that of the Declaration on Environment. So this declaration have been done at Rio de Janeiro from 3rd to 14th June in 1992. In order to reaffirming the declaration of the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment that adopted at Stockholm on 16 June 1972, and it's seek to build upon it with the goal of um, establishing a new and equitable global partnership through the creation of new level of cooperation among states, key sectors, or societies, and also people. And this are also one of the steps to work together to work towards the international agreement which respect the interests of all and protect the integrity of the global environmental and the developmental system. So next slide. So throughout this declaration, uh, um, there are 27 principles that are being proclaimed, uh, which is the first principle is human beings are at the center of concern for sustainable development. They are entitled to a healthy and productive life in harmony with nature. So second principle is that states have, in accordance with the Charter of the United Nations and the principle of international law, the sovereign right to exploit their own resources pursuant to their own environmental and developmental policies, and the responsibility to ensure that activities within their jurisdiction or control do not cause damage to the environment of other states or of areas beyond the limit of national jurisdiction. And the third one is the right to development must be fulfilled so as to equitability meet developmental and environmental need of present and future generation. Next slide. Okay, the fourth principle is in order to achieve sustainable development, environmental protection shall constitute an integral part of the development process and cannot be considered in isolation from it. And the fifth principle is all state and all people shall cooperate in the essential task of eradicating poverty as an indispensable requirement for sustainable development in order to decrease the disparities in standard of living and better meet the need of the majority of the people of the world. There are 27 principles that been proclaimed under this report. So for the other principle, you guys can search in on the internet. um, okay, so next slide.
Okay, so I'll close the presentation with conclusion. So, in a nutshell, humans, animals, and also plants need a conducive environment for us to live and breathe. So, the earth is designed for us to have all the access to the needs that are required for us to live. So, as a human being, as a good human being, we need to be responsible in preserving as much as we can the earth, our beloved earth, for us and for our child to live in future. So that's all from us. Thank you.